Welcome back, Duelists, and it's Tuesday, so you know what that means? Speed Duel deck. So me and the wife we've been building this one for about a week now. We've been planning this one since just before we released the Slifer Speed Duel, and so here we go. It's going to be a nice little casual-ish, kind of beatdown-ish deck featuring Maha Vailo and equips. So real quick, let's get you guys a list. We're going to be using the Inner Conflict skill because it is one of the best skills to be using right now in the Speed Duel meta. We also want to use 3 copies of Breaker. We want to use 2 copies Jinzo and 3 copies Maha Vailo. Moving over to our spells, we are going to use 3 copies of the Bashing Shield, 3 copies of Book of Moon, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, and 2 copies of United We Stand, because best equip is best. And then, to round it out, we do want to have our double Zone of the Spirit, because we don't want to lose to another Inner Conflict deck, but sometimes things happen. So, moving on to the extra deck, it's pretty much my standard anytime I don't know what I'm going to be doing or I'm not playing anything too specific. It's the 1 Arcana Knight Joker, double Ultimate, 1 Ryu Senshi, and double Thousand Eyes. And we built up the sideboard for you guys as well this time. We got the single copy Charging Guy of the Fierce Knight in there. We got a single copy of Kaiser Glider. We're rocking double Nobleman of Crossout. And rounding it out with 2 Waking the Dragons. So, if you guys were just here for the list, I'm glad that you watched it, Thank you. If you were just here for that, you guys have a great day. I'm not going to bother you this time. But for everybody else, let's go over the strategy here, okay? So, I think everybody's pretty familiar with Inner Conflict by now. If you're not, you activate the skill during the main phase, and once per duel, you pay half your life points, take control of 1 monster your opponent controls until the end phase, but it may not attack directly. It can attack other monsters that they have, but it can't hit directly. So that's fine. And that's really going to be most of the time, that is our win condition. Real quick, we're going to be using 3 breakers. Why? Because he's immediately 1900 when summoned due to his ability to give himself a spell counter on normal summon. And because he can get rid of that spell counter to target a spell trap on the field and destroy it, allowing us to break the opponent's back row. It only drops him down to his base 16, but we have equipped cards, so base stats really don't matter this time. We are going to run the double Jinzo because we don't want our opponent to have traps, and the sooner we can make sure that they're not playing traps, the better. And then, of course, the star of this deck is Maha Vailo. Little spellcaster, little obscure card. This came out in like the first 4 sets of the main game, way back in the day. What it was it gains 500 attack for every equipped card attached to it, in addition to whatever the equipped card itself was doing. Starts at 1550 with a 1400 defense. Not terrible. Makes some crazy moves right away and starts outswinging a lot of cards immediately. And one of the cards that lets it do that is our Bashing Shield. So you equip this only to normal summoned or set monsters. Again, we're not trying to special summon this time. Give it 1,000 attack points, which for Maha Vailo is 1,500, which doubles it to like 3,050. So yeah, it clubs Blue Eyes White Dragon immediately with a Bashing Shield. And then if you do overpower it, the last line of text here says you take no battle damage from attacks involving it. So, okay, man, you managed to get your Blue Eyes Ultimate, you blasted it, that's fine. No damage from me this round. So that's fantastic. Great card. Played at 3. Triple Book of Moon. Again, we want to stop our opponent's plays. This is one of the most effective ways. Cosmic Cyclone. Again, not as good with Inner Conflict, but remember, Inner Conflict isn't giving you a set cost. It says pay half. So it doesn't matter if I play both of these and lower myself to 2k. That just means Inner Conflict costs 1,000 instead of costing 2,000. Or if I activate one of these, then it's 1,500. Honestly, the later you play Inner Conflict in a game, the more cost-effective it is. And Cosmic Cyclone is going to allow us to banish a spell or trap on the field. So, fantastic. And again, we're going to want the United We Stand. Now, we discussed, me and my wife, Celestial Duelist, we were discussing whether or not to go with Mage Power or United We Stand. And my argument, and the reason I switched it over to this, was simply if you have two monsters, Maha Vailo is going to get 16 plus its 5 for 21 and jump itself up to 3650, right? But to do the same thing with Mage Power, you're going to need Mage Power itself. That's going to be 1,000 between its effect and the other. I would need 2 more cards in the back row to get it to 2,000. And I could still have a field spell, but I knew that I wasn't going to be using a field spell. So like it maxes out at 2,000 on its own for 25 that way. Or I can do 24 by having 3 monsters and grab the extra 5 for having been, on Maha Vailo. So I just figured United We Stand much more standardized, definitely an easier play to make. And I feel like the math just backs that one up. And again, you got Zoma. And again, Zoma's not going to remain in the back row. Yes, he's still going to count as a trap. But in the front row, he will power us up. We can still activate him just to summon him, literally just to power up Maha Vailo, once we have the United We Stand on board. So again, he's going to help us from losing to other inner conflict players. And if your opponent really does bust out a Blue Eyes Ultimate, he could just sit in front of that and wait for that to blow it up too. Fantastic. Again, the extra deck, Arcana Knight, Joker just sort of protects himself by being able to discard a card of the same type as any card that's targeting him, so you can negate and destroy. Blue Eyes Ultimate, just strongest written stat still. Ryu Senshi is able to stop any spell that targets him, as well as being able to counter traps for, normal traps for a total of 1,000 life points apiece. And then there is the Double Thousand-Eyes Restrict for when you need to turn the game around on your opponent, because maybe they played something more powerful than you. The side deck really lets you play some more utility. Sometimes it's not going to be as opportune to have that many copies of Maha Vailo or the Jinzo. If you find out your opponent really isn't playing traps, you might go with the Kaiser Glider and the Charging Gaia instead. The Kaiser Glider being able to bounce something when it does get destroyed. If it attacks something on the same tier with the Pseudo Monarch type decks running around right now, the Kaiser Glider will be able to smash in and stay alive. It'll definitely clear Jinzo. It'll clear itself. Well, it won't clear itself. It will clear a lot of stuff. And then what it doesn't, when it is destroyed though, it will target a monster on the field and toss it back to hand. So that's good. Nobleman of Crossout, just get rid of those nice defense decks that are sitting around. Still, I don't like Old Vindictive Magician all that much. I'd rather cross him out and not have to worry about it. And then Waking the Dragon, game 2, especially if they try to hit your back rows or something, you might want to use the Waking the Dragons to threaten with the full extra deck. So this is the Inner Conflict, and it should have been named Maha Vailo and Friends. But this is an Inner Conflict equipment deck. And I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, consider a subscription. Go tell your friends. And most of all, please, have a great day. I'll see you guys later.